Good morning and welcome to Wansford Pasture. Wansford Pasture is the name given to this site by the Bedfordshire, Cambridgeshire, Northamptonshire Wildlife Trust, of which I am a member, and it's worth being a member of just to be able to come and look around this site because it is magnificent, and it always is magnificent. Shouldn't be saying this because it might just have a bad season, but it never does. Always leaves me speechless. It's an incredible site. It's another Dactylorhiza orientated site, but the bias is slightly more towards common spotted than southern marsh, but spectacular orchids, I can promise you, at this place. So yeah, let's crack on and get stunned. Another one of these sites that you sort of get in this area where you've got this ridge running where my finger is straight down here, even though I've put it out of focus doing this. But we're standing on the ridge. The water drains down to the left till it hits the limestone, and then it seeps out along this ridge and runs down, which is why there's no orchids up there. Down here there's a lot of orchids feeding off the wash that comes down from the ridge, which is limestone rich. Right, I'm seeing a lot of purple. Let's go and have a look. Strongly marked leaves, very wide stem which is hollow, Grandy's hybrid. And I can warn you now, you're going to see quite a few orchids not dissimilar to this where they break rules. I don't think this one breaks rules. I mean, Grandy's hybrids can show up all sorts of markings, but you'll see some southern marsh and some common spotted probably that kind of don't look like they do in the textbook. But this is a Dactylorhiza swarm. They mess around with each other, and they've been messing around with each other for a lot of years. There's a lot of backcrossing, and they've created their own breed of Dactylorhizas, and usually some nice hybrids. Kernrorums, Wintonia. I hope we should be able to find some of those. From a distance that was a white common spotted orchid, but of course it isn't, as you can see. Nice to see a straightforward common spotted orchid. Not the best example. Clean leaves, southern marsh orchid with very distinct early marsh orchid loops on it at the top there, so that is a Wintonia hybrid. We'll see a few more of these. Nice group of southern marsh orchids. We'll call this one a Wansford southern marsh orchid. It is a southern marsh orchid. Breaks some of the rules in terms of the markings on it, but not many. It's not far off actually. That's a southern marsh orchid. This is one of those that always upsets people if I dare to put it on social media with any suggestion as to what it could be. It's got very clearly marked spotted leaves, so we've got common spotted in here. The colour palette and the shape of the flower screams out southern marsh orchid. And the reflexing of the flowers at the bottom, depending what camp you sit in, infers some sort of early marsh orchid influence. And indeed, if you look close enough, there are early marsh orchid loops on there as well. So on the face of it, there is early marsh, southern marsh, common spotted, all in this one together. And that's an evidence of, or would be symptomatic of, a Dactylorhiza swarm where plants are backcrossed. This could have started off as a Grandy's hybrid that then crossed with an early marsh. Could have started off as a Wintonia. It's crossed with a common spotted. Any combo. Somehow 3 Dactylorhizas have got involved in the creation of that orchid. Lovely southern marsh orchid. A little bit more like the traditional southern marsh orchids. Not messed around with too much. A strange little stumpy one. Very, very common spotted leaves. I don't know what you'd make of those flowers. You've got to say bizarrely spotted southern marsh orchid. It's a Grandees hybrid, I think. Again, I could see elements of early marsh in that flower, distant early marsh, but we'll leave it as a Grandees for now. A nice pale southern marsh orchid. Grandees hybrid. Dactylorhiza, cross Wintonii, no doubt about that one. Southern marsh, cross early marsh, lovely markings. A mini Grandees. Thought these were southern marsh, they're actually Grandees hybrid spotted leaves. Nice little group. A lovely whitish common spotted orchid. I thought it was a full-on white from a distance, but as you can clearly see, it's got patterning, but still very nice. Bit of a sit on the fence orchid here, and there'll be a few of these. It's spotted leaves, common spotted, but I think, as I sit on the fence, some of these loop markings seem quite distinctive. If it is a hybrid, then it is a Kernerorum, common spotted early marsh. Could just be a Grandees, I don't know. Sit on the fence. Fantastic numbers, as there always is here at Wansford Pasture. Always a great site. It's a site, S-I-G-H-T, as well as S-I-T-E. Great in both senses. Lovely. Tiny little common spotted. I said earlier there's a bigger shift towards common spotteds here than in the neighbouring Wansford Meadow site. But so far I've been proved wrong, because there's a lot more marsh orientated, southern marsh orientated orchids here. Maybe that'll change. Spots everywhere. Hollow stem. Grandees hybrid. A nice pair of Grandees. Grandees are dominating the scene at the moment. Not quite sure what's going on with that one. It's a Grandees hybrid, but it's pretty cramped up in there. Plenty going on. There are clonkers and there are clonkers, and this is a clonker. It's only a Grandees hybrid, only, he said, but the markings are magnificent, absolutely magnificent. Whatever it's called, that is a wonderful, wonderful orchid. Don't matter what the name is. Absolutely stunning. Now I know it's a bit gnarly and hasn't fully opened yet, but it's a bee orchid. And I'm pretty certain I've not seen a bee orchid here before, so I'm going to grab that one. It's very low down in the grass, but yeah, Wansford Pasture bee orchid, I'm happy with that. Nicely posed, you guys. 3 Grandees hybrids. Another Grandees hybrid, a much lighter one. That's a common spotted orchid, but it's a, excuse my French, it's a bloody mess. Too many flowers in too short a space, for whatever reason. Good to meet some people from BCN, Bedfordshire, Cambridgeshire, Northamptonshire Wildlife Trust, who came down were pleased to meet me, even knew who I was. That's almost fame, isn't it? Lovely guys. Another bee orchid growing low down. You've got to watch where you're going here. Good to see though. Another mess. Spotted leaves. Can't call that common spotted, it don't look right. Colour palette is Southern Marsh. Call it a Grandees hybrid, but it's a mighty weird one. That's my cop out. So close to being a white. From 6 foot away and beyond, that is a white. Unfortunately, I have to get closer, and you can see it's got markings and a pink blush at the top. Common spotted orchid, by the way. Grandees hybrid, and a very nice one again. Aren't they all? Common spotted starting to show up now in better numbers. Nice little group here. Right, you Lepidopterist, what am I looking at? Common spotted orchid with a common blue on it, he said hesitantly. Absolutely stunning. I said we'd be stunned. We're always stunned. I'm always stunned, sorry, at this place. What a sight. There's an even better one, just a little bit higher. How good is that? Fill your boots, as they say. Lovely group of Grandees hybrids there. I've actually found a rarity here, a plain Southern Marsh orchid, untouched, untarnished. Another wonderful Grandees hybrid as the rains start to come down. But they're not going to drive me off. I am not missing these, even if I drown. Let's head up the hill and see that big white up there, which won't be white, but it's a big orchid, whatever it is. There it is. It's a giant lollipop of a common spotted orchid. That's a clonker. Very pretty. Common spot is dominating now. No problem with that. Lovely Grandees hybrid. It's another lovely group of common spotted orchids. I love that group, common spotted again. Nicely marked common spotted. A lovely group, another lovely group of Grandees hybrids. Some real big Grandees hybrids up here at the top of the hill. Common spotted corner here, wonderful grouping. You got mum and dad up here, and you got the kids down here. Brilliant stuff. That's a pure Southern Marsh, clean leaves. sitting right next door to a couple of nicely marked Grandees hybrids with spotty leaves. Some more wonderful panoramas, Dactylorhiza panoramas coming up, starting with this one. Superb. Bit more of a purple panorama here. I'll save the best till last. Just cop a load of this lot. That is incredible. Very boldly marked common spotted orchid. Here's a nice mix, getting cosy. Common spotted on the left, I think a Grandees hybrid on the right, and the one in the middle, based on those markings, is a Wintonii hybrid. Southern Marsh, early Marsh. A bunched up, messy common spotted. Right to left, Grandees hybrid. In the middle, Grandees hybrid. And on the left, probably a Wintonii hybrid. It's got loop markings on the top flowers. You can just make them out. Nice mix. A little bit non-standard, but it's a Southern Marsh orchid. Lovely markings. Grandees, and a very nice one again. That one is a marbled white, sitting on a Grandees hybrid. I've got to pack up. Apart from the rains coming down, the battery warning light is going bananas on my camera. There's so many orchids here. Look, this could be a 2-hour video, and then I could come back and do another 2-hour video. And even then I'd have missed half of them. It's astonishing. You know, it's another swarm. Common spotteds and Southern Marsh orchids dominating, with everything sort of mixed in between. So it's just beautiful, beautiful patterning on these orchids. Absolutely stunning. I haven't found a white common spotted, and I haven't found the white Southern Marsh. Doesn't appear to be here. But if I see it on the way out, I'll come back. But otherwise, I said I'd be stunned, and I'm always stunned here. It's just the sheer number. And as you can see over my shoulder here, it's just, they're everywhere. It's very difficult to find somewhere I can sit down safely. Very, very impressive. So Wansford Pasture. Yeah, if you can get down here, if you're within 50 miles of Peterborough, 100 miles of Peterborough, it's worth coming down and seeing. Absolutely superb. So thank you very much for joining me once again. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you next Friday at 6 o'clock.